Today on the menu, we're making homemade cream of mushroom soup, and for this recipe, you will need shiitake mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, baby bella mushrooms, white button mushrooms, and some portobellos, salt, pepper, cornstarch, a yellow onion, some garlic, a pre-sliced cut of ham, and some bacon. Next up, you want to add 5 slices of bacon to a cold pan on a medium-high flame, and this will help render as much fat as you can out of these slices. While my bacon was cooking, I basically sliced up my mushrooms into these sizes. I kept them on the larger side because keep in mind, as you add them to the pan and they cook, they will shrink. So you just want to add about 3 tablespoons of butter to your pan. So you might need to do this next step in batches like I did. You don't want to steam your mushrooms and overcrowd the pan, so just add as much as you can just to develop some color for about 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, this is what our mushrooms look like, and these look super delicious. So just continue the process until you've browned all your mushrooms. Next up, I'm going to add 1 whole yellow onion and about 4 cloves of garlic into about 2 tablespoons of oil. So you can remove your onions and garlic after about 3 minutes. You just want to get a nice brown color on them, like our mushrooms. And then you want to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to the remaining mushrooms that haven't cooked yet. You can add about 1 tablespoon of thyme. Once the mushrooms have been coated in the flour and you've cooked the raw flour taste out of the mushrooms, which takes about 2 minutes, you can add all of our ingredients into this pot, which we'll be making our soup in. And I've added about maybe 4 cups of beef broth. And you want to cut this with about 2 cups of water to help dilute it. So basically up next, I just added our pre-cut ham and I've cut it up into these smaller pieces. Again, we're just browning our meat here. It really adds to the flavor profile. This is already cooked, but about 5 minutes should do the trick. We're going to bring our pot to a boil on high heat, and once it's beginning to boil, we're going to bring it down to a simmer for 50 minutes. So now that our soup is beginning to boil, I dropped the heat down to about medium, which will allow it to simmer for the remaining time, and I'm going to partially cover this, and I'm just going to let this cook for the remaining time. So while our mushrooms are absorbing that beautiful beef broth, I'm going to continue to brown our pieces of ham that we have here. So once you've done that, you can put that to the side, and you want to take out about half of your mushrooms here because we're going to run the food processor to add texture to the remaining mushrooms. Essentially what I'm doing here is I'm running the food processor through our soup, and this will help thicken up our final product. And then once I've come to a consistency that I like, as you can see here, I'm going to re-add those mushrooms that we had taken out earlier because you don't want it all to be just this thickened soup substance. You want it to be a combination of both the liquid and then our pieces of mushroom here. And you want to make sure there's like no ham or bacon in at this step because you don't want that to be part of your thickened soup. You want that to be, whole. Okay, so once we've added our mushrooms back into our soup, we're going to add in our ham, and this is going to be really great because we're going to add a saltiness to our soup, and the mushrooms will absorb all this extra flavor. But now we need to thicken up our soup just a little bit more, so you're going to create a roux. So to about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, you want to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And once you've reached a substance like this, you're going to add this clumpy glue to your soup and whisk it in. And it'll get incorporated into your soup, and you'll see the soup begin to thicken up. So on about a medium flame, you want to add your 3/4 of a cup of half and half slowly, and then 2 cups of milk. You want to slowly whisk this in because you don't want this to curdle on a high flame. So you make sure you drop the heat and mix in slowly. So as you can see, now I'm going to continue to stir, and as you stir the milk and half into your soup, it's going to form that traditional light brown color you think of when you think of, store-bought cream of mushroom soup. So I'm just continuing to stir, and as you can see, the color is really beginning to develop. This is the color and consistency I was looking to reach with our final product. So I'm just continuing to stir until this reaches a light simmer and this is ready to be eaten. So you're just heating up your soup at this point. So this is good for me, and I'm going to show you the final plating in a moment. And here we have it, homemade cream of mushroom soup, and I decided to add some bacon and ham in for some extra protein and flavor. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy!